Howdy, folks. It's time for another attraction spotlight from Disneyland, and this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness. That's right, we're going to be talking about Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is episode 78. I'm Soraya.
I'm Aurora.
And together we're just your average Disney travelers. Okay, time for another attraction spotlight. We're doing these about once a month, and this is one of Aurora's favorites.
Yep.
Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yeah.
You've always liked this ride. I don't think that's ever been one you've been afraid of.
Probably, yeah.
It's a pretty good family coaster ride. It is a roller coaster, but it's not
It's
like
not
extreme.
drops.
Yeah.
There's probably only like one thing that I consider like a full-on drop that doesn't like curve immediately.
Right.
But it's like
still
it's
not
more
very
like a hump, not like a drop.
Exactly. So this is one that is a great starter coaster for kids. I mean, of course, I'd take them over to Gadgets Go Coaster first, but this is a really, really good beginner's roller coaster for anyone that isn't into the extreme. So let's, before we get into this though, dang it, I keep forgetting I do have some news and I haven't even told you this yet, but Disney has, what is the word? They've changed, they're no longer requiring masks anywhere and on the Disney parks. So previously we didn't have to wear them indoors or outdoors, but you did need them on transportation. Then they narrowed that down to the monorail and buses. Mm-hmm. Now you don't even need them on the monorail and buses.
Nice.
Yeah, so their official language is something along the lines of that's for those who are fully vaccinated, and if you're not, it is still recommended to wear masks. And of course, anyone can wear masks whenever they feel more comfortable doing so. But it is not required anymore, and they're not going to ask for proof of vaccination, so there you go. But now let's get into the attraction spotlight for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. So this attraction in Disneyland opened on September 2nd, 1979. Now we know that there's a Big Thunder Mountain Railroad also in Walt Disney World. In fact, there's also one, I believe, in Paris and Tokyo. But we're not going to get into those. Mostly we're going to stick with the information about Disneyland's. And at Disneyland, it is located in Frontierland.
Yep.
Is up to you.
So the attraction type is roller coaster. We mentioned how there's drops where they kind of curve immediately, so you don't really get that drop feeling.
There's nothing very tall.
Yeah, nothing tall.
So there are some humps, like you said. Yeah. I would call them humps. But
yeah, humps. There's
but you do have that sensation.
One, especially at Disneyland, where it does give you that sensation. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was younger, I did not like that bit, but it was quick enough where it didn't bother me at all.
That's good, yeah.
It's a thrill ride. It has dark moments, and it's also very loud in those dark moments.
Yeah, yep.
So, the duration is 3 minutes, roughly. The speed is about 35 miles per hour. You can have 2 passengers in the little cars or vehicles. You have to be at least 40 inches.
So there's your height restriction.
Yeah.
Make sure that, before, if you're going with little kids that want to ride it, make sure you know their height. And if they're not 40 inches yet, you're going to want to, don't let them know that they're not going to make that one.
Yeah. And then you have to be able to transfer from a wheelchair or an ECV.
Yep. And they take you right up to it. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember if they even had, because some rides, I'm pretty sure when I was there with your aunt, my sister, we brought her chair right up to where they boarded. But I do think they had to transfer her from her ECV to an actual push wheelchair at the point where they were going to that, like from where they, near the exit where they would take the wheelchair riders, you had to transfer at that point into a wheelchair, and then they pushed that up to the car, if I remember correctly. But yeah.
It does have Genie Plus.
For the Lightning Lane?
Yeah, for a Lightning Lane.
Alright, so you can, if you're using Genie Plus, get one that day for this attraction.
Yeah.
If it's available.
Yeah. And the theme is Runaway Mine Train.
Yeah, so hang on to your hats. Legend has it that after gold was discovered in the 1850s, eerie incidents took place in the mines. Trains would take off and race through tunnels all by themselves. Sounds creepy. As you enter the cursed cavern, your train speeds up along the rickety track. Shoot under a booming waterfall and dodge a falling boulder from an unexpected landslide as you swoop around sharp turns and drop into desolate canyons. On this rip-roaring adventure, you may learn that some legends turn out to be true. All right, so that's the description.
Yeah.
All right.
Mom, you're so good at this.
So, fun facts.
Yeah. It was originally planned for Walt Disney World, but got put on hold twice. And ended up being built and opened at Disneyland first.
Yeah, so they were trying to get it over there. They
Yeah.
planned it out for there first, but they didn't get started on it first. They actually started this one, and so then they took the same thing, and I don't know if you have noticed this, but they're basically the same, but flip-flopped, because Disneyland's, if you're looking at, like, say you're standing at Pirates of the Caribbean and looking at the Rivers of America, at Disneyland, which is where Pirates is, it's not even looking at the same spot in Disney World, but in Disneyland, if you're standing at Pirates and you're looking at the Rivers of America, then to the right is Frontierland, and that is where Big Thunder Mountain is. However, at Disney World, if you're in the same spot looking at the Rivers of America, you would no longer be in front of Pirates of the Caribbean, but say you're over by, like, Country Bear Jamboree or something, then to the left is Thunder Mountain. And so because of that, they're on the opposite sides of the river, and so their tracks run opposite, like mirrors, like, so that they have you going towards the water kind of in the same directions and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. So we beat them out here at Disneyland, but it was originally supposed to get to Disney World first. So this attraction for Disneyland, it was built on a spot where there had been another ride. It was the Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland. And that actually had replaced a previous ride even. So this is the third ride on that spot. But there are nods to those attractions, those previous attractions. The western town and the village that you see along the, like when you're waiting in the queue, and then also when you're going on the ride, that little western town is the village of Rainbow Ridge, or at least it used to be called Rainbow Ridge, and that used to overlook the loading platform for the mine train through Nature's Wonderland. Many of the animals and animatronics. Oh, sorry, that was you.
But
Sorry.
you can keep going. I can do
Oh,
that.
okay. So many of the animals and animatronics are from the previous attraction.
The Rainbow Cavern, which is like the glowing pools of water in like the first lift.
Yes.
Which, from my experience, is much easier to see at night. I don't think I've ever seen it during day. So
You never noticed it during the day?
Yeah, like I don't know if it's because my eyes were still adjusting, or it was just not bright enough. But I remember going at night and be like, "Wow, what happened? Like I can actually see."
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the precariously balanced rocks in the third lift area.
The hill tunnel. The hill tunnel. Yeah, and the name of the ride itself, Big Thunder, was originally the name of a large waterfall the old mine train passed on its tour. So the previous ride, it was still a mine train, and it was like a tour, but it was a leisurely tour. It wasn't a thrill ride. It wasn't fast. It wasn't, they didn't have the drops and stuff. And so they took some of these little bits and pieces of those attractions and kept them and put them into Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's one of Disney's first rides to utilize computer-aided design.
Yeah, I think Space Mountain is also one of the first rides. But what I believe is it was that computer-aided design, I think, was created as they were working on Space Mountain. And so this is probably the first one that was created using an already created system with the computer-aided design, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. All right, Walt Disney World and Disneyland versions are very similar, but Disney World's version is actually a little bit larger, and Disneyland's version they've had a recent update. Well, recent being I don't know,
recent.
like what 8 years now or so.
Yeah.
Where they've added like the different special effects, and we really like.
Yeah, it made it much better.
Yeah, we really like one of those especially, but anyways, yeah. And then Disneyland's version of Thunder Mountain is different from the other versions by having rounded features, so like the rocks and everything are more rounded and muted colors, inspired by Bryce Canyon in Utah. The other versions have more sharp edges, the angles are sharper, and they have more vibrant colors, and they're based on Monument Valley in Arizona. And that's kind of cool now that we live here in Arizona, and we actually drive through near Bryce Canyon occasionally when we head north above the Grand Canyon. And so it's kind of neat to see some of these features, and we do sometimes go, oh, wow, I could totally see how that inspired the look of the Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
And I believe that the difference for Disneyland was because it's so close to Fantasyland that they were concerned about it being too much of a contrast. They really needed it to blend as you move from one land to another. They like it to be kind of almost just easy, and not have it be a super shock where you just feel like you just naturally switched from one area to another. And so having those muted colors and the softer edges makes it a little bit more of a natural shift from Fantasyland into Frontierland. So that was the reason for that.
The queue lines create a western trail that winds through walls created by over 100 tons of gold ore from a gold mine in Rosamond, California. Antiques from the mining days, including water wheels, a mine sluice,
I think.
And dinosaur fossils are all part of the big Thunder Mountain experience.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool to look through. That's why we've talked about this attraction and the queue from time to time. And that's why I really don't mind the wait in this queue. It's usually, first of all, not very long usually. It can get long, but it's not always long. And it's a little bit shaded, and it has some things to look at. It's not just straight up, a queue winding back and forth.
Like in Fantasyland.
Yeah, like the Fantasyland queues. Yeah, so I've always felt like this was a pretty neat queue to be in.
Mm-hmm. Disneyland's version is also the only version that actually has its loading station outdoors.
Yep. I don't know if you remember the Disney World one. You kind of go down and you're inside. It's totally covered, and it's kind of dark in there. Actually, it's pretty dark, and then you just get going and you go out. All right, there are a total of 6 trains used on this attraction, each with a clever name. I don't know if you've ever noticed. Their names are I Am Brave. I should say the initials. I Am Brave, I Be Hardy, I Am Fearless, You Be Bold, You Are Courageous, and You Are Daring. And so pay attention next time when you get your train to see which name it is, and kind of take on that attribute of that personality. Be brave, be bold, be fearless, whatever it is that you're getting. But yeah, that's kind of cool. But I think this last fun fact is probably, I thought it was the coolest.
Yeah. So this one's about Walt Disney World's version. So,
but it's just we can't pass it up.
Yeah.
We have to include this.
So basically, a real doctor, Dr. Wardinger,
I don't know how you pronounce it, Wardinger,
found that some of his patients had passed kidney stones while riding Big Thunder Mountain Railroad while on vacation, including one who had passed 3 stones on 3 separate occasions. He then tested this using a 3D model of a kidney with Disney's permission and found that 70% of the time the stone was passed. The results varied depending on which road they were in. The same study found that Space Mountain rocking roller coaster at Walt Disney World failed to cause this result. This study was published in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. Apparently it works at Walt Disney World, but not Disneyland.
And there's actually somebody, and I don't know who it is, but a YouTuber who had a kidney stone. And so he went to Disneyland and tried it there and it didn't work. But then he went to Disney World and it did. He passed his kidney stone after riding it. So, I mean, not just that this doctor has done a study on it. And I can't remember how many times he wrote it. He wrote it over and over and over again, this doctor, when he was doing his study. So it was like, you know, he did it several times to see what the percentage rate was. It wasn't just a couple, you know, a handful. But anyhow, yeah, people have actually done that. So if you get a kidney stone,
go to Disney World.
You now have doctor's orders to go to Disney World and ride Big Thunder Mountain, and that'll help you pass your kidney stone. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have some tips.
Wait times are often inflated.
Yeah, we found that. At least now, I will say that all of our most recent experiences were just before Lightning Lanes came out, and so it's hard to say now with Lightning Lanes if we're still going to see the same trends as far as which rides were, you know, the wait times were maybe a little overinflated. But our experience was that this ride was one of those that usually it would say the ride was a lot longer of a wait than it really was.
Yeah. This is going back to what I was saying about that area that kind of lit up at night. Try riding at night. It's sort of, there are like a couple other effects, and those are more brighter at night.
Yeah, any of those special effects, the lighted effects.
And usually the darkness kind of adds that additional thrill.
Yep.
In general.
It makes you feel like you're going even faster.
Yeah, because you can't see as well outside.
Yep. So, and then you never know. You might even catch also if you time it just right, you might be on it with the fireworks going, and that's really cool too. So yeah. So try it at night. All right. So for a smoother ride, you want to sit in the front, but for a wilder ride, you're going to want to be in the back. Now, the hard part about this is I always want the smoother ride because I get motion sickness if I'm getting whipped around too much. And Aurora is the crazy one that really wants the wild ride and wants the back. So we usually like compromise and get in the middle.
Yeah. Though with your Pulsar, you probably are better.
I can try it with the relief band being in the back, but I still don't want to push it. I want it to be I don't want it to be on the edge where I can only ride it once. It'd be fun to ride it.
I thought that was like before that was what it is. I feel like
that was also not sitting in the back. It was in the middle or closer, yeah. Mm. All right, so those sitting near the front will, however, get the full effect of the dynamite explosion in that tunnel. I think it's that third tunnel lift. So if you're too far back, it kind of happens before you're really getting there. And so if you really want to see that, then in that case, you don't want to be all the way back. And that might be one of the reasons why you say that you felt like the smoke wasn't there. Maybe it's because...
No, because, like, you literally... Like, I've been on it enough, like, where I've been in the front and it didn't go off.
Oh.
So I don't know if they took it out or, like, it just did not work while we were there.
I don't even remember. So there used to be smoke during that effect that you've been missing. Yep. Okay, so tips. Also, try the goat trick. I have not done this because it would make me sick. But as you go by Billy, which is the name of the goat that is holding the dynamite, the stick of dynamite, and if you've ridden this ride, you probably remember him because it's just
iconic.
Yeah, he's pretty much iconic to this ride. And so as you pass him, you're going to want to keep your head and eyes pointed at him. So as you're turning and going around him, you turn your head back and keep your head facing him and staring at him as you're kind of curving and going down, and that's supposed to give you a feeling like this greater sense of disorientation, and a lot of people really love it. And so I have not tried it because it would make me sick. But that's a tip if you want to see how to kind of spice that one up a little bit and make it even a little more thrilling for you.
Yep.
All right, so do you have any favorite memories from this attraction?
Not really.
Just that you like it a lot.
Yeah. I guess that that time I rode it at night and saw all the lights in the cave for the first time.
Yeah.
Because they have like a bunch of bats and like the little cavities, I guess. I don't know what you call them. Pockets.
Yeah, in the caves.
And during the day, I don't think I ever really saw them except for maybe like their eyes or whatever. but like at night, like I actually saw them because it kind of glowed a bit. And that was really off-putting. I was like, what happened?
You thought someone had gone in and switched out something in the ride.
Yeah, I was like, did they change this?
Just the last few hours since daylight to nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think one of my favorite, I feel so bad because so many of my not favorite memories, but memories that stand out the most are some first times. And a lot of the first times, their true first times, end up being with Acadia. Because Acadia was, older when we went on. Well, she was actually the same age as your first time, but she was the first child we had doing it. And so I just remember Cadia being on this attraction, although it was the Disney World version, because that was her first time to Disney. And she rode with her aunt and uncle, your aunt and uncle, Ruth and Tom. And she was so brave and had her arms up. And because Uncle Tom had his arms up. And so she did it too. And I have just a short little video of her passing by with her arms raised with him, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's great. She was brave and did that. And anyways, so that I thought that was pretty fun. Other than that, I mean, I do really like this ride. I love that it's fun and it's wild. I also love that it's actually scenic too. I think it's kind of pretty, especially the part kind of near towards the edge of where you would be going to Galaxy's Edge. There's like this pond you go down through, and there's trees and ponds, and you're going so fast you don't even realize it. But when I'm waiting for you, when you're riding after I've ridden once and I can't keep riding over and over again, that's where I go, and I like to watch the trains go by, and I'll try to grab a photo or a video of you on it. And anyways, it's just a pretty relaxing little scenic spot.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we really love this attraction and are looking forward to doing it again this summer. Yep, when we make it back to Disneyland. But how about you? Do you have any fun memories from this attraction? Do you have any other fun facts or tips that you would add? Please share them with us. We'd be happy to hear from you. But other than that, we will see you next week.
See you.